Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Profitable Christian Business Podcast. I am your host, Doug Greathouse, and I am so pleased to finally have Matt Blanchard on the podcast. It seems like I've been chasing him down a little bit. I think I might have reached out to him like months and months ago to be on the podcast, but we finally get to share his story. I think it's going to inspire a lot of you. It's going to encourage a lot of you. It's without further ado, Matt, I'm going to let you do a brief introduction before I just. Um, I'm all hyped about it. Let's just put it that way. So go ahead and introduce yourself, Matt.
Well, Doug, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah, Matt Blanchard. So I just turned 50 this year and I feel born again. I really do. I feel I've got purpose. Anyway, I live in Southern Utah and I married my high school sweetheart. I've had the same girlfriend since I was 15 years old. I've got three amazing children. Let's see, 29, 27, 25, and an amazing grandchild. So life is good. We've had some challenges. I welcome challenges, and we'll talk about how I address my challenges throughout my life. But yeah, that's me, Southern Utah. I think this is a little slice of heaven. So, and people are finding out about it, Doug, unfortunately, and they're moving in here like crazy.
Wow. So I have something about that. So I used to live in Charleston, South Carolina, and it was a nice little oasis. Not a lot of people knew about it. And then Travel and Leisure, all the magazines, Southern Home, all got a hold of it and said, everybody move here, vacation here. And it wasn't long after that I moved from Charleston, South Carolina. So I imagine it's starting to feel that way where you are.
Yeah, I mean, we started with 80 when I moved down here, but right around 80,000 people, and we're over 250,000 now or something like that. It's just nuts. But hey, that's little for some people.
Yeah,
Big for me.
I've got to get there. It's on my bucket list to get to Utah. I love out west. I've been to Colorado, Oregon. God's beauty is on display out there.
You know what? Get out here, bro, and I will go show you all the hidden gems, all the little secrets that everybody in our podcast doesn't know about. So
nice. Yeah. We're going to just drive more people there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's horrible. It's hot. No.
I always like to open the interview with just some fun questions. We're going to get into your story, but what's something that might surprise people other than your story, outside of your story, to know about you?
I am as competitive as you can get. Like I love every single sport there is. And I want to brush my teeth faster than other people, so I am extremely competitive. And I'm also an anatomy teacher, believe it or not. I teach anatomy at Utah Tech University. And I've done that for the past 10 years. And I love that. So I applied to a medical school, got accepted in medical school. That's the fun fact. And then mama said, nope, you're not going to medical school. So now I teach anatomy. So that's something little on the side that I do, just get in front of kids and, spread my message.
Nice. Next question. If you're hosting a dinner with 3 guests, living or past, who's at the table?
All right. Now, the first person with no affiliation on the red or the blue would be Donald Trump. And because he's a God-fearing man and he's a businessman, and boy, whether you agree or disagree, that guy's impressive. So I'd love to sit with him and pick his brain, and to have half of the country or a third of the country dislike you. How do you deal with that pressure? You know what I mean? And you think he's made some very difficult decisions, and I don't agree with all of them, but hey, at least somebody had the guts to do it. Second would be my father. So I lost my father in 2019, just before COVID got here. And I would love to have one more talk with my old man. And if anybody's lost their dad or your mom, that's something, I would love to spend the evening with my pops. And the third, and not because this is a Christian-based podcast, for real, it would be Jesus Christ. And not to learn more about faith but to learn about the man and his trials that he went through. And maybe there were doubts, or did you know the whole time, bro? And like, that would be something for him to look you right in the face and like, I knew the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, if you knew that, how did the resolve, how did you build up to that moment in time where you would be utterly alone, and I've been there truly. And then we'll talk about that, but,
Yeah. So
that would,
I love those answers, and I want to ask some follow ups on that and kind of so Donald Trump recently said he's trying to get to heaven, right? And he thought stopping the Ukraine and Russia war would help him get to heaven. And I heard someone else, and this is the same way I believe. I don't think he totally understands the gospel. Um, just doing good deeds and doing good things is not the path to heaven, right?
you gave me chills, bro. Yeah. I would think that living up to your full potential, I think we're all given gifts, specific gifts, that, we can either, there's the parable of you give the tokens, went out, spent the tokens, somebody hid the tokens, somebody came back with and earned more tokens. And I think we all need to live up to our full potential, and living up to your full potential is failing
Yeah.
over and over and over,
Yep.
man.
Yep. Yep.
You have to be like a rock in a tumbler to get that thing polished. It's got to have those edges chipped off. And I think that's what we are.
Refined.
Yeah,
Yes.
refined, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and Jesus, of course, I think almost everybody that is a believer would have Jesus at the table. There's just so much that you could ask him. And I think my belief is that he did know what was coming and he anguished over it. But he knew it was something that he had to do. And that you talk about resolve. I don't know. I don't know if anyone could have greater resolve than that. It's just incredible.
There's a moment in Christ's life that hits me the hardest. And that is when he's on the cross, and I'm just going to let it go, man. My superpower is vulnerability. And when he, speaks out, and Father, where art thou? You know, and, and I understand now the love that God the Father had for Christ, because true love is watching your loved ones suffer and loving them enough to walk the road with them, but not take that cup from them. And I understand that now, but boy, I felt utterly alone, and for Christ to feel utterly alone, boy, I'd ask him, like, bro, really? Like,
Yeah.
how?
Yeah. Yeah. Man, powerful, powerful. Um, I'm so anxious to get into your story, but I want to cover a couple questions first. One is actually a fill in the blank. We do this on every episode. Your fill in the blank question is: a strong faith doesn't mean.
Strong faith does not mean that it will be easy. I mean, people with the strongest faiths have the hardest paths.
Mm-hmm.
And as you conquer and go down this path, your faith and your resolve becomes greater. And that's with any of us. Like, if you do hard things, on the other side of hard is self-confidence. On the other side of hard is joy. On the other side of,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of times people are, oh, why is this happening to me? And playing the victim card. And I don't play the victim card. And we'll get into that later too. But I believe life happens for us. Even just the most hellacious thing. The thing in my life that would probably be the most devastating would be the loss of a child. And I know that there's people on this, listening to this podcast, who have lost a child. And as harsh or as hard as this might be to hear, is it happened for you. And depending on how much time has passed, there may be some that say, you know what, I agree, that happened for me. There'll be a situation in your life where you're like, oh, that's why this happened. And so I think our challenges, our trials happen for us. And I'm just the guy that wants to learn, wants to progress, continually fail, and get up and go again. So yeah, I think that's the thing with faith. I mean, look at Job. I mean,
Yeah.
and so the stronger the faith, the stronger the challenges. So if you're going through some challenges, like some challenges right now, boy, God loves you, man. And
Yeah.
it's not hard to see, but boy, it's happening for you.
Yeah. The refinement. I think one of the hardest things, like people, I don't think they know if they pray for more faith, they're actually asking for more, more challenge.
Right? Right?
It,
Facts.
it is a wonderful thing to pray for and to want, because we all want to have more faith, but just know that you're asking God, okay, you sure about that? God saying, you sure about that? Because I'm going to bring it.
Right. And believe me, he brings it, you guys. So, yeah, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode.
As a Christian entrepreneur, we want to give you something for free. If you go to clientsforthekingdom.com, we have an ideal client avatar generator on there for free. It's something that we've spent thousands of dollars on, countless hours out, and building out this structure of showing you who your ideal client avatar is and an offer stack that can work for your business.
Enjoy the rest of the episode. Yeah. So I'm almost hesitant to ask this question because I think it's going to. I think I'm actually going to interrupt my own process here, and I'm going to save the secret question till after you share your story because I think it's going to play its role into there. And I'm not going to ask the next question I had. I'm actually going to ask you to just kind of tell us your story, kind of all that you've been through, and then I'll ask some follow-up questions based on what you tell us about your story.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So in 2006, I got in a car accident and I was an electrical contractor at the time. I picked up one of my employees and this 19-year-old kid told me 3 times to put my seatbelt on. And 3 times I turned to him and said no. And I gave him all the reasons why I didn't need to wear a seatbelt. And pride and arrogance. And then seconds later, I rolled my truck and I ended up with a spinal cord injury. I snapped myself right in two. And I was held in that truck for 2 hours while emergency crews drove down and cut my employee and myself out of the car, put me on a gurney, put me in a helicopter, and airlifted me into the hospital where I had CTs, MRIs, all the things. And come to find out, my back went into the steering wheel and I snapped myself right in two, but not like a pencil. Like it's a compression burst. Like there was so much pressure that my 12th vertebrae grenaded in my back and a piece of that bone went in my spinal cord. And at 30 years old, I lost everything below the waist. And I was in the best shape of my life. I'm 6'2". At the time I was 215 pounds. I'd just run the St. George Marathon. And I told my employee all this. I'd say, hey, look, nothing can hurt me. And that's the way I felt. And seconds later, I couldn't feel my legs. So I'm in the ICU and I don't quite understand what's happened. I spent 10 days, 2 surgeries. And I remember wanting to sit up. I hadn't sat up in 10 days. And anytime I tried, it felt like something was holding me down, like I was strapped down. And my goal was, I thought, I'm going to just grab my quads and pull myself to a sitting position. But I had electrodes and tubes and all the things coming out of one arm, but the other hand was free. And as I reached down and grabbed my quad, I couldn't feel the touch of my own hand. And that's when it all set in. I was like, oh my gosh, this is really happened. And at that point, I didn't want to live anymore. If I couldn't run marathons, I didn't want to face a life of paralysis. Are you kidding me? So I was in the ICU and I was in bad shape and it was all coming. I mean, what was I? I thought that I was a 6'2", 215 pound man. And now from the waist down had been taken. The reason why I couldn't sit up is I didn't know how to anymore. Like my abdominal muscles had been taken, everything. So I didn't know how to sit up, but I didn't know that I didn't know how to sit up. Oh, after these surgeries, I went through 2 surgeries, a lot of pain meds, and the pain meds had backed up my bowels, and I hadn't had a bowel movement in those 10 days either. But finally, I'm done with surgeries. They moved me out of ICU. Now, this was back in 2006 before anything was electronic. They moved me into my own hospital room, and 6 o'clock at night, I remember it. And they'd given me enemas and suppositories, all these things to get my bowels going. And I kid you not, as soon as those nurses closed that door, my bowels released, man. And it was amazing. No more pain. Like, it's crazy that the pain medication was causing me so much pain. But finally it had released, and I'm laying there in that room, dark, and I'm hitting my nurse call button. And I'm just so grateful, at this moment that I'm not in pain anymore, but nobody's coming. And this stuff just keeps coming, and I can feel it creeping up my sides. And I'm hitting that nurse call button, and my lungs were so weak. I couldn't yell yet. I was trying, but the nurse call button wasn't plugged into the wall. Well, this stuff comes up, and it got in my hair, it would be in my new incisions. And I tell you what, I prayed to God that he would come and save me, that he would send somebody in to save me. And no one came. And I felt abandoned by my wife. I felt abandoned by my family. I abandoned by God. And I don't know if anybody listening has been utterly just shattered, destroyed, no more will to live, to go on, nothing there anymore. You just want this nightmare over. And I laid in that stuff until the following shift change, 6 a.m. the next morning. So right around 12 hours. Gotten into some of my incisions. I got infected. I started to have my incisions packed. And these cute girls came in, these CNAs, to clean me up, and they'd done this a million times, and they've probably done it a million more, but this was my first time. And I was so ashamed, like, I was so embarrassed. And they would roll me to one side and clean me up, and then tuck that dirty sheet under me and roll me to the other side and clean me up until I was all clean again. But I was broken, like, mentally, spiritually, physically broken, shattered, destroyed. Now, and I was airlifted to Salt Lake City, Utah, where I grew up. And people had waited these 10 days, my friends, people I'd known my whole life. So they'd come and give me their love and support, because they'd only let 2 people in at a time in the ICU. And as my friends would come in to my room after these CNAs just cleaned me up, I wouldn't acknowledge anybody. I wouldn't engage in any conversations. I wouldn't open my eyes. And it went all day long. My wife says about 300 to 400 people. People from my elementary school all the way up to the University of Utah, from my faith, hundreds of people. And I wouldn't engage in any conversation. I wanted this over. I didn't want to do it. And then at the end of the first day, everybody had left my room except my dad, my old man. And he pulled a chair over the side of my bed. And I wouldn't even acknowledge my dad. I wouldn't talk to my dad. And he sat down and he said, "Look, this is big. This is paralysis. You can quit." Mm-hmm. And when he said that, I was like, finally, somebody understands. Mm-hmm. And then he said, "Matt, we can all quit, but you have it in you to dig in, dig deep, and get it done. Dig in, dig deep, and get it done." And he left the room. And instantly I saw red. It triggered me, because Dad didn't know. No one knew how rubbery and foreign my entire body felt to me. Like to come down and touch, and there's literally nothing there. And so I was really angry, and I wrestled with my dad's words all night. He's telling me to dig in. He doesn't understand. This is a wheelchair. I'm not going to run marathons. Dig deep. Well, paralysis, man. And then get it done. So I wrestled with, what am I going to do? What am I going to get done? What am I going to get done? And I decided I was going to walk again. I'm Matt Blanchard. I'm bigger than paralysis, very ignorant when it comes to any type of injury. And I thought, I'm just going to outwork this paralysis thing, and I'm going to get walking again. So then I don't have to deal with the loss of that 6'2", 215-pound man. So if you can, for a second, I am competing with myself, who I would never be able to be, ever again. And I started to go crazy trying to be who I used to be. Because anybody who suffers a deficit like that, all they want is the moment. They want to be the person the moment before that deficit hit. And that's all I wanted. So the following morning, the occupational therapist comes into my room and asks me what I want to do. And I'm like, hey, I want to walk. And he's brilliant. He's like, okay, we'll walk right on. And I'm like, this is my guy. But first I want you to get your socks on. And I laughed at him. His name's Casey. I'm like, Casey, for real? I get my socks on? He's like, yeah, get your socks on. We'll walk. And it took me, over an hour to get 2 socks on. Casey'd come in and ask if I needed help. And I would cuss and yell and scream and I need help who needs help getting their socks on? And today I realized that we all need help getting our socks on. Just that my socks look a little different than yours. And I'm different now that I will accept help from anybody for a lot of different reasons. Before I'm Matt. I don't need help. I'm a man. I do this myself. When I first came home from getting hurt, my dad, I went back to school to become a doctor. And there was a young lady at the school that said, hey, can I get that door for you? And I'm like, no, I'm straight, because I want to show off I can get my own door. Mm-hmm. And so she went in and I go to pull that door and my dad slams that door shut. And he says, who are you? Who are you? I know you can get your door. Who are you to take away the blessings and helping others feel like they did something positive? And I was like, my old man gave it to me straight all the time. And now, today, I will let anybody do any type of anything for me because I know that I can do it, but it's helping them feel better about what they can do and they serve others. And that's where joy's at is serving up and getting things done. So I went to work on walking, bro. And I finally, every day, Casey would come in and say, hey, what do you want to do? I want to walk. Okay, get your socks on. And I got down to where I could get my socks on in about 20 minutes. And I thought, I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to get sweatpants on, socks on. So when Casey comes in, I'm ready to walk. Like, I want to walk. Let's do this thing. Casey comes in. I'm ready to rock and roll. Leaves the room. Comes back with my surgeon. And they're both standing at the foot of my bed. And my surgeon says, Mr. Blanchard, I understand you want to walk. And I look right at him and said, no, you got it wrong, bro. This is how I speak. Mm-hmm. You got it wrong, bro. I'm going to walk. Mm-hmm. I said, no, wait, hold on. And he pulls up my x-rays, before. And he's like, you've suffered a very severe spinal cord injury. And I've treated thousands of them, just like yours. You're not going to walk. It's impossible. You are a T12. So my chart says I'm a T12 complete spinal cord injury. So 2 inches above my belly button, boom, done. He labeled me. I'm not big on labels. So what I did saved my life. I got rid of all negative criticizing people, all of them, all of them. And which was difficult. It really was, because one of them was my mom. I love my mom, but my mom and my dad both wanted me to come home and then coddle me like any parent would want to do. Mm-hmm. But I'm a 30-year-old with a company and I've got to get things done. So if I would have allowed them to coddle me, I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be where I'm at. So I chose the harder road and I surrounded myself with people who thought maybe with the right attitude and effort, I'm out to walk again. And so that doctor who labeled me, said I was never going to walk again, said it was impossible, never been done before. I got rid of him. I had nothing to do with him. I found therapists, friends, family, and went to work, bro, for 15 years on this goal of walking. And I knew I was going to walk out of LDS hospital. I knew that. Like I had specific blessings and all these that just aligned with everything. And then the day came that I was discharged and I wasn't walking. And I came home. Boy, I don't tell this very often. I came home and tried to destroy my marriage because I didn't want my wife married to a cripple. in my mind, she had married a 6'2", 215-pound man that takes care of the yard and the cars and brings in the money. And my wife stayed at home and reared the kids. And like, I was a very different man. So since she wasn't married to this guy anymore, she was married to this broken, didn't know what I was. I said all the mean things to get my wife to leave me, and every mean thing. And she's bawling. I'm in the bathtub, and I'm not crying, but I'm dying on the inside. So scared of everything. And she turned to me and said, "I didn't marry your legs. I love you. I'm not going anywhere." And she turned around and took out of her purse a permanent marker, and on our mirror, we've got double sinks in our bathroom. She on my side, and it's still there today. It says, "What kind of day will it be today? You decide." Mm. And that's what kind of woman I'm married to. And at that point, I knew, okay, I've got somebody in my corner, somebody that's not going to leave me, and that's all I needed. And I went to work, man. And I had such support. Like my friends, like all those hundreds of people, like my network is my net worth. And I have relationships with the people I went to elementary school. Still, I talk with them. It's important to me. I don't know why, but my entire life, it's been important to me. And they surrounded me. And on the days that I was too weak to go, they helped me, man. They pushed, they pulled, hey, let's do this. And then also on the days that I didn't want to do it. I have one really good friend. His name's Larry Sorden. And he lived a couple houses away from me. And I was in bad shape. Didn't want to get out of bed. Hadn't gotten out of bed in days. And he came over and he said, "Matt, I'll give you the rest of today. But tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., I will be here. We're going to get you showered. We're going to get your bowel care, all your everything taken care of, get you dressed. And enough of this pity party thing, man." And he did that daily and showed up. And yeah, people showed up for me. And I think it's a lost, people think they need to ask permission or just show up. Just show up. You know when you need to show up, mm-hmm. Make a. Mm-hmm. And so from there, I knew, okay, I'm not going to be able to just sit here and have a pity party because Larry's going to come and get me, and my brother or my dad, whoever's going to come get me. So that's how I got through the first 5 years of paralysis, not dealing with it. And truth be told, I've not dealt with it to this day. And I don't know what's in there. Kind of scary, but I love who I am and what it's turned me into. So I came home and I found doctors and therapists, and we went to work every single day battling paralysis. With biofeedback, with e-stem on my muscles, with physical therapy, occupational therapy, and then at home and at gym and forcing my legs and visually telling my body, I'm whole, I'm healthy, I'm whole. Whatever that means, because I'm more whole today than I've ever been in my whole life. That's a fact. So as I do that, I've got all these rods and screws. I've got 2 rods that run the full length of my spine. I've got 12 titanium screws holding me together. And I hurt, man. I hurt. And so they sent me home with pain medication with Oxycontin. And I didn't know what Oxycontin was, other than when I took this pill, I could push my broken body hard in therapies and do impossible things. But very quickly I became dependent on pain medication. Now listen to how I said that. I am not an addict. I am not a recovering addict. I will not hold those labels. I won't. I went through addiction. I went through addiction twice. And if you're going through something, well, there's a beginning and there's an end. But if I'm an addict, if I'm depressed, so have I been depressed? You bet I've been depressed. I went through depression, but I'm not depressed. I'm not an addict. So I only wear labels that serve me. Truly, I wear labels that serve me. And I got rid of all those negative criticizing people. And I became so mentally strong and positive that now we repel each other. We really do. We can't be around each other because I'm a big energy. I am. And I'm positive. I'm annoyingly positive. And just repel each other now. So I become dependent on these pain meds. And 5 years after, I'm not walking, at least not the way I want to walk. I'm walking around with forearm crutches and with a walker. I put my wheelchair away. And I actually went back up to Salt Lake City, drove up there without a wheelchair, and walked from the parking lot all the way to the 11th floor up to this physician's office. This was now, I think it was 7 years later. And I'm standing in his doorway. And he looks up at me from behind his desk and he says, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, do you remember me?" And he did. He's like, "David Blanchard." I'm like, "Yeah," because I was a pain. I was a pain as a patient. I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Well, what can I help you with?" And I said, "You told me I would never do this." And he said, "Well, what's that?" I said, "You told me I'd never walk again." And he looked right at me and he says, "You're not walking, not without assisted devices. You're not." Got up from behind his desk and he walked right past me. And I put my armor on because that crushed me again. And I walked back down to my car at 37, 38 years old and bawled and cried and cried. And I'm up in Salt Lake City all by myself. And I've got that 4-hour drive back down to St. George. And I knew that I had a decision to make. I could either quit and this guy's right, or I could go harder. And I decided to go harder. And the way I went harder was in every single therapy, I would think of this physician. And when my body didn't want to do it, I would mentally, I'd be like, "So he's right. So you can't do this. So you're really not going to respond to me." And I would force my body forward. And sometimes we measured it in millimeters, truly. And sometimes we measured it in yards, man. Some days were amazing. So in life, a lot of the time, especially in coaching, a coach will get on your kid or whatever. And we take it so personal, and because we love our kids. But that doctor, when he retired, he reached out to me and actually they asked me to come and speak at his retirement, believe this or not. He reached out to me and he followed me throughout my whole thing because I walked, man. I walked. And he reached out to me. He knew my kids' names. He knew my wife's name still. He knew what I'd done, where I was going, all these things. And we had lunch. And he's like, "Matt, I've never talked to a patient the way I talk to you, ever. And you have no idea how much it hurt just to tell you, you can't do this. It's impossible." But I knew to get the most out of you, you needed to hear that you can't do this. And so instantly, those years of hatred, like that guy got the most out of me 300 miles away. At 300, he was in every therapy with me, even though he was up in Salt Lake City, Utah. I love him. So in your life, is your teacher, is your mom, is your dad, are they saying something to push a button to get the most out of you? And you've got a decision to make. Like, which way am I going to quit, or am I going to go harder? And I'm just designed, I don't know how to quit. I am relentless. So that's one of my superpowers as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So much in there. I've been writing some notes as you were talking, just to ask you about. So just to fast forward back to the beginning, or not fast forward, rewind back to the beginning of that story. How much was pride and your identity you were can you contrast and compare where your pride level is now compared to where it was then, and what your identity was wrapped up in then as compared to where it is now?
Yes. So my pride, I was proud, man. I was proud to be Matt Blanchard, and I was right. And if I was right, you were wrong. That was a big thing. And then, it's asinine to talk about this. It really is. But before my accident, I would come into a gathering or whatever, and I would pick out whatever male I thought was an alpha male, and I would go and dominate in that person in any and every situation. And I was, you could either get on my team or get out of my way or get steamrolled. Those were your options. Just a very no empathy, zero empathy. More of a, hey, rub some dirt on it, let's go. I don't want to hear about it. Now today, I don't have to be right. That's the first thing, is that that my right doesn't have to be right for everybody. There can be two rights. I understand now how important my wife is, and how I wouldn't be here without her. And before, she was more of a trophy, and I was really into very nice things, and a lot of, hey, look what the Joneses, hey, look at the Blanchards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I got one, one of those is nice, let's get two. And now I'm not about me. Well, let me. The way I fill my bucket is filling others' buckets. That I am in service all the time, because I understand now that service pulls you out of any type of depressive state. Service automatically feels you better. They're just, you get all the endorphins and you get all the things from service. Whereas if you just sit in your home stagnant, boy, depression is things that you should have done or living in the past, and then anxiety is too much in the future. So now this conversation, this podcast is the most important thing in my life, truly. And I'm present, because I don't know, I might stroke out during the middle of this podcast. So why the heck wouldn't I give you and your audience my complete attention? Because this is the most important thing that's happening in my life right now. So I'm present. That's the biggest difference, is I'm present.
Man, I love that. The other thing I really picked up is, I feel like you, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you spent a lot of time investing in relationships, and those relationships paid you back, right?
100%. 100%. I still, to this day, in fact, I talked to one of my buddies this morning from elementary school that we're going to go golfing. And yeah, I've got a group of people around me that know me well enough, like my circle, my people, that if I'm down and out, that's the rule. I get today, or Doug, you get today. But tomorrow, Doug, I'm going to be at your house at 6 a.m. and we're going to get going. So everybody's allowed to feel and have bad days. And I also realize now that when somebody feels a certain way, that's true. It's true to them. And it doesn't matter what I think, or if I think that's silly that they feel that way, or that's dumb, or that whatever. Those are their feelings. Like, how do you argue with the way somebody feels? And now I allow people to feel, where before I was like, no, you got to, that's silly. This is how you should be. So
Yeah. I think one of the other really valuable things that you said is labeling, right? And going through something rather than it being part of your identity. That, I think, can help so many people that are listening. We are not our current state, right? If we're in depression, it's a temporary thing, right?
it's temporary. And if you're kicking butt, guess what? It's temporary.
Yeah.
Everything is temporary, and you can't appreciate light without dark. So if you're in absolute despair, if you are laying in a bed with waste, and you're broken, and you're alone, and there's nobody there, that's an amazing place to be. Because that depth, if you can get to that depth, can you imagine the high? And I am a living proof of that. So if you are utterly broken, shattered, You thought you were on the ground floor, but it went even deeper. Good. You're growing. You're learning. And take comfort in knowing your future self has already taken care of it. So think of all the worries of today that you've got today. Well, think of the worries of the past. You're still here. So that what you worried about 5 years ago, 3 years ago, yesterday, your future self, your today self has taken care of it. So if you trust yourself, and hopefully you do, all your problems that you're going through right now, you've already taken care of it. It's temporary. So trust yourself. Feel. You have to feel it to heal it.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, and feeling it. I cry a lot. I really do. I didn't cry before because that wasn't manly. That wasn't manly. And it is such a pressure release. I cried yesterday. Life is hard, you guys. Life's hard. And if you can't, I cry in the shower. No, because nobody can see me cry. But it's a real thing, man. And it's a pressure release because life's hard. And life's not fair. And life's never going to be fair. So get over it and get on with it.
Yeah, I feel like the sign behind me kind of probably might resonate with you too. You can have results or excuses. You cannot have both.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You everything that you've said is like you don't make excuses for yourself. And one of the other things I'm thinking is when you label yourself, you're putting a limit on your potential. You're just like, this is who I am. This is all I'm going to be. And you're a living testament to no matter what limitations come your way, you can always be so much more than what your limitations are.
Where focus goes, energy flows. So if you're listening right now and you are broke and all the bills and I don't have enough money, and that's what your focus is every single day, well, guess what? Congratulations. You are manifesting that to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. That should be proof that manifestations work. So change your mindset. I am peace. I am love. I am joy. I am light in a dark place. I'm abundant. I am strong. I am powerful. I am powerful beyond measure. These are some of the things that I tell myself daily. I am extremely good looking. Okay. Look at me. And that's one of my superpowers. I know this. I know that I'm handsome. I know that people are drawn to me. And I'm not saying this in an arrogant way. I know this about myself. And I speak it to, if everybody listening can look at yourself in the mirror and start picking out the things that you love about yourself. I love my eyes. I got these beautiful blue eyes. I got a great smile. I got a personality on top of that. Wham, let's go. I mean, I work hard. So start telling you all the positive things. Get rid of negative, criticizing thoughts. And at first, when I started my path to walk again, of course, those negative thoughts came in. And this doctor, I've seen it thousands of times. You're not going to walk. I combated it for the men. I combated it with one thing. I would say, I'm the man. So a negative thought would come in. I'm the man. I would cut it off immediately. And I would tell myself, I'm the man thousands of times a day, thousands. And after 6 weeks of telling myself, I'm the man and cutting off negative thoughts, guess what? I'm the man because I do hard things.
Yeah.
But we all do hard things. Doug, you're the man. Seriously. And if we can step into that power, oh, man.
Yeah.
Love yourself.
Let's kind of dive into the faith part of this a little bit. So how has your relationship with God changed from that point when you were 30 to where you are now?
Okay. This has been a road. I went from being Christian to being agnostic to being an atheist to now, what would I even call myself? Friends with Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is my boy. He's my freaking boy, man. And God the Father, wow. I mean, wow, right? Wow. Thank you. Thank you for this. But I have a picture of Christ. So every morning as I sit up in my bed and, oh, there I am. I'm still paralyzed. It's been 20 years. And I swing my legs over the side of the bed and I am face to face with a picture of Christ. And in the beginning, I would look at that picture and cry and cuss and yell. And you want to talk about being a comforter? Yeah, you bet. And I would look at that picture and like, there is just no way. There's no way you know what this is like. No way. And that relationship, we grew together. And then I was angry. And so if you want to call it rebel, whatever it is, I felt it wasn't fair. And just give me my big toe. Prayed for my big toe for decades. And in the beginning, I'd get blessings and different things that tell me I'd walk again. And that was my focus. I just wanted to walk. And now I've been hurt for 20 years. And I can tell you now that this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I hate being paralyzed with every fiber of my being. But it has given me my purpose. It's allowed me to become the human that I was always intended to be. I'm talking the father, husband, friend, brother, the human that I was intended to be. So my challenges, we haven't even got to the second, but I'm a stubborn dude and I want it my way. And to be absolutely honest, I tried to corner God. And in my faith, there's a verse that says, I, the Lord, am bound when you do what I say. When you do not what I say, you have no promise. So I took that verse and I thought, you know what? I'm going to corner God. I'm going to do all the things right. I'm going to do everything. And he owes me, man. He owes me. So I thought, what more noble thing to do than to get this body strong enough to baptize my children, right? What a noble thing. But only God and I knew, hey, I got you, bro. I got you. And those things happened and they didn't happen the way I wanted them to. And not very often do things happen the way I want them to. But now I understand that my way was the way I thought it was going to be right here. And it actually ended up way up here because I got out of the freaking way.
Amen.
And I stay in flow now rather than let's do this. We gotta get this square peg in this round hole. We've got to, it's the only peg we've got. Let's just do it. And I just understand now that there is absolutely a plan. Free agency is something else, man. I mean, all the parents out there with kids, free agency is something else, isn't it? Okay, and can you imagine what the father thinks? Especially when some of the decisions I make, it really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my relationship with God and Christ right now.
Wow. Yeah. I can hear also in your story, like as such a driven person, the impatience. You wanted things in your time, right? And God had a time. And he does that so well, right? Because often if we get things in our time, they're not going to bear the fruit that if they come out in his time. And we always have to look in retrospect at that and say, wow, thank you, God, that you did not give it to me when I wanted it.
Exactly. Oh my God. So if all the prayers in 2006 would have been answered and I would have been given my body back, what a travesty, man. I wouldn't be talking with you or any of your followers right now. I would be an electrician, probably not married, maybe estranged from my kids. I don't know what that looks like, but what I do is, so I tried to corner, going back a little bit, I tried to corner God. Didn't work out the way I wanted it to. It worked out the way he wanted it to, though. I'll tell you that. And it was powerful and I missed it. I mean, you want me to talk about that?
Yes, please. Yep.
Okay.
We only got through half your story, basically.
You're right. We might have to do two of these things, but I've all these people who are still supporting me, and I'm baptizing my kids and doing things. Well, my legs don't work. Period. The end. And we have to go down in this body of water to do this ordinance, and my my physical therapist and myself had practiced coming down the stairs with the water and using it's called a hemi walker, and using a walker to get over to and be able to do this thing. And we figured, okay, you need to wear shoes, and we need to have weights on your feet so that it'll go down to the bottom of the well, day comes, and they open up the doors, and my therapist forgets the weights. So here's my feet. They're just floating. And he has to push my feet down, actually go under the water a little bit. And now he's standing on my feet. And I'm frustrated already because how the heck are we going to do this thing? And we've practiced for months and months and months. How's this going to happen? And he gets me to a stand, and I take a step, I take another step, I go down under the water. He has to bring me up out of the water, and I struggle over to this hemi walker to do this ordinance, not realizing the power of what people are witnessing. And I missed it because I didn't get to do it my way.
Wow.
And we were able to do the ordinance, and they closed the curtains, and as they're closing, I go down again. And I was so frustrated, and I missed it. Doug, I missed it. I wish I didn't miss it. And everybody told me how powerful, all the things to watch this struggle, but I didn't see that because it was all about me. I couldn't my own way, bro.
So I want people to hear that, because so often we are so self-obsessed thinking about what it is for us that we're not realizing the impact that we're having on others. So sometimes we have to step away from ourselves and say, okay, I understand now. Right?
Right. The decisions, I understand now. I used to be so quick to decisions, and because it's my way or the highway, either get on my team or get off my way. And now I realize, boy, if I choose this is going to affect my family or the people, my circle in a negative way, where before I'd just done it and then dealt with the consequences. And now I realize that decisions I make daily, like not putting my seatbelt on, Doug, it's affected you. It's affected your listeners. So for anybody listening, what decisions are you making? Are you wearing your seatbelt right now? And if you're not, click the doggone thing.
Yeah.
Don't pride and arrogance get you. I mean, yeah. So it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us and who we can help, and how the decisions we make throughout the day impact and affect humanity.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of approach life now.
Matt, I have, I think you mentioned earlier, you said something about you choose joy, right? What does choosing joy look like in your current state?
Okay. Focusing on the things that I can do. So I can focus on the things that have been taken. So if we've got 5,000 things that I want to do on my bucket list, and 1,000 have been taken because I'm in a wheelchair now, I can focus on those 1,000 and oh man, I'm never gonna hike the Narrows, and I'm never. It's hard for me to even talk like that, to be honest.
It sounded like you were like not another person.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah. Or I can focus on, I am a golfer. I surf. I cliff jump. I hike with my kids. How do I, and a lot of the time, I would say people get hung up on the how. And I don't get hung up on the how. The how's where the fun is. So, like, how am I going to surf? I don't know that, but we're going to do it. And that's where all the fun is. So don't let how get in the way. I just focus. Like, I've got a grandbaby, man. I've got son that's engaged to be married. I've got another son who is a assistant golf pro. Life's doggone good. My wife of marriage of 30 years, relationship of 35, loves me. I mean, or I can focus on negative things. I have to go to the bathroom different. I have to shower different. I have to get dressed different. I get pressure sores now, urinary tract infection. Like, what do you focus on? Again, where focus goes, energy flows.
Mm-hmm.
Stop saying you're broke. Start saying you live in abundance, and watch what happens. Your mind does not know the difference between a lie and the truth. It doesn't. So whatever you tell yourself, whatever you manifest, think of anything like this thing right here. I graduated high school in 93. And if you were to tell me one day we would have these things with no buttons, by the way, and you just look at it and you would say something to it, and somebody in India would pick up and you would be talking face to face with somebody in India. You are smoking dope in 93. That's impossible. And now look what we do. Started with a thought. That's how powerful thoughts are. And a lot of the times our thoughts, if they're negative, now we allow ourselves to feel the negative feelings that come with that thought. And we go through the entire, just this traumatic event. And then we actually talk, then Doug, you and I actually talk, and you're like, you know what? Don't worry, we've got it figured out. And I went through all of that emotion and I felt it, and it was real when I didn't need to do that. So focus on positive things. Tell yourself how awesome you are, how unique you are. I'm the only, here you go. Doug, did you know I'm perfect? I am. I'm perfect. No one can fail like me, can succeed like me. Doug, if I got another wheelchair, put it right next to me, and I tried to be you, I might get close, but I'd fail. Look, I got a head of hair. You don't have, you know what I'm saying? So why, if I try to be anybody but Matt Blanchard, I will fail. So my goal is to be a better version of myself today than I was yesterday. I'm not in competition with Doug. If I try to compete with you, I'll fail. So why would I do that? Just focus on becoming a better you. Everybody else is taken. Just be you. And you're unique. Doug, you're perfect. No one can fail the way you fail, bro.
That's right.
No one
can
succeed the way you succeed. So why not just focus on becoming the best Doug that there can be, rather than trying to be, you know what, Matt Blanchard's doing this, that, and the other. I'm going to try to do, no. Did you know that the most powerful emotion, the number one, more than hate, more than love, is authenticity? Authenticity.
Yep.
And when I speak to groups, and like if I was a phony, if I was a fraud, they would sniff me out just like that. And I've lost all credibility. So just be the unique you, and know that everybody else is grinding. Everybody else has problems. And it's all how I see problems as opportunities. Like I ran track in high school, and I ran the 100 meter, the 4x100. Anyway, you've got these block things, right? So do you put the blocks in front of you or behind you? You push off the blocks. So if there's a block in front of you, figure out how that block serves you, because it serves you in some way, and learn how to get over it, under it, around it. I don't care, so that you can push off of it. It's happening for you.
Yeah. So many questions and comments based on what you just said. I'm just do my best to recollect everything, because I wanted to be intently listening and not writing notes. I don't think he's the only one who said it, but Kobe Bryant once said, just get 1% better every day, right? 1% better every day. And you'll be surprised if you look back a year from now, 2 years from now, what the results will be. And also, I love when you said, I'm going to surf, right? It's having the end in mind. The process to get there, you'll figure it out. It's starting with the end in mind. So I love that. It seems like there's something else in there too that you said that but again, I was intently listening, so I lost.
Bring up Kobe Bryant, and Kobe was on another level, man. And Mamba was on another level. And I was never a fan. I was the MJ fan.
Me too.
But even now, turning back, like I love Kobe. I think he's much. And what Kobe, I do a lot of things that Kobe does. Because he's awesome. I sign a contract with myself. So in my life, I have goals like walking. I'm going to walk, how? I don't know. I'm on my third time doing it. But then I also have non-negotiables. So that's my contract. Every morning I'll be up at 6 a.m. I'll read a self-help book for at least 20 minutes. I go to the gym every single day, every day. And then I don't eat McDonald's at all. Why? Because I love McDonald's, man. I haven't had McDonald's in years, but boy, even thinking about that mac sauce right now. So those are my non-negotiables. It doesn't matter how I feel. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to that's the fifth one is I cold plunge every morning. And that's not fun. That sucks. But and that terrorist in your head, well, it's early. That water's going to be so cold. And now it's been so long that voice is gone because it already knows what I'm going to do. It's my non-negotiable. So I would start with one non-negotiable, and do not fail yourself. Don't do it. Start with, I don't care if it's food. I was 260 pounds. Right now I'm about $1.60. So I lost about 100 pounds. And I started with soda. I don't drink soda.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to do these drastic things. But so what are your non-negotiables? Soda used to be one of my non-negotiables, but it's not on the list anymore, but it's just not something I do.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol. It's just not something I do. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve this vessel. It doesn't matter how I feel with my non-negotiables. That's happening. My goals, those are how. Well, how are you going to get to be a multimillionaire? How are you going to get your first book out? How's the fun part, man? So non-negotiables, I would challenge you, start with one. I stay with 5. Non-negotiable, don't you dang lie to yourself. Don't you let yourself down. And on the other side of those non-negotiables is self-confidence. I do hard things.
Mm-hmm.
I keep promises to myself. Like it's a good thing. It's a great thing.
Nice. One, I trying to go back into your story again. One thing that I've been talking to a lot of the people that follow me and some of my clients is habits and triggers, right? That doctor triggered you into building some really habits. But one of the things that I do to keep myself going to the gym on a daily basis is I provide myself a trigger. I set my clothes out for the gym right beside my bed. So as soon as I get up, that's the first thing I'm seeing, right? So, and it has worked. I put on those clothes and I go to the gym because that's the first thing that triggers me.
Yeah. So, and I love positive triggers. And then, boy, I've got blind spots, Doug. I've got these blind spots that trigger me into this, whatever it is. And my wife and I we have now decided that, hey, babe, I need to say, hey, babe, that triggered me. This is not yours. I understand that you didn't mean to. This is an ish me, not an ish you.
Mm-hmm.
So, babe, it triggered me. I just need you to know so that I don't push this trigger down. Let it go for a couple of weeks. Something else happens and then I blow up on you. So I've now committed to my wife, hey, as soon as I get triggered, I'm going to say, hey, babe, I'm triggered. Let's just talk. I just need you to know I'm triggered. That's it. We don't even talk about it. And she'll say, well, would you want to talk about it? Whatever. So anyway, that's the newest step in my life is when blind spots come up, because we all have them, to acknowledge that blind spot, feel it, and then heal it.
Yeah. Wow. That I never even thought about. I'm glad you flipped that around to the negative triggers because, some negative triggers will be unavoidable. But I'm sure there's also ways that you can eliminate. Like I'll just use an example. Like if you're going to work every day and one of your things is you're eating McDonald's and you don't want to, if you're triggered by driving by McDonald's every day, maybe you take a different route.
Bingo. Exactly, right? Yeah. My dad would always say, KISS, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Yep. I'd say, yeah, you're exactly right. Change. Something has to change.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, the definition of insanity. is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
So change something.
Man, there is so much for part two in this, so we're gonna have you back. But before we go, there's a couple things. First off, how do people find out more about you, and do you go around and speak? Like, what do you do?
Yes. Okay, so I am a public speaker. I'm a motivational, inspirational speaker. I speak from anywhere from K to 12 all the way to the Ford Motor Company, Coca-Cola. I'm speaking at the hospital in Colorado next week, the university. So I speak on grit, overcoming adversity, teams. How do you provide your team? How you show up in the world. So I speak on a lot of different principles, and depending on my audience and who that is, and is always received so very well, and it changes lives immediately. It changes corporations immediately. Like, I give you tools and situations that literally change instantly, and it keeps people accountable, especially on teams, when we talk about how you show up. So how do you get a hold of me? I've got my website. It's blanchardinspires.com. I guess we'll probably put that down in the notes. You can get a hold of me on any of my social platforms. I have on Instagram, it's Matty, Matty Blanch, Blanch, and then the number 3, Matty Blanch 3 on Instagram. Matt Blanchard on TikTok, Facebook, and also on Facebook, I have my nonprofit, which is Today's First Step, where we help other people who have suffered deficits get back out in the world and be able to do any sport that they want. And also we provide a community of like-minded individuals to help. Because if you can imagine, you're this able-bodied, healthy person, you get hurt. Well, this community that you were in with all your friends, you just got stripped from that community. Yeah, they're still there, but you don't. That is different. And you're put into this community at the acute rehab with these doctors and therapists and CNAs, and to help you become independent in a wheelchair. And as soon as you are independent, you're discharged and you are stripped from that community instantly, just like the accident. And then you come home and you have a tendency to go dark places. And so we've developed Southern Utah Adaptive Sports, which is our nonprofit, and we will plug you right into that community. So if you know anybody who has suffered a deficit, any type of deficit, spinal cord injury, amputation, TBI, a stroke, reach out. Please follow me on my socials, and we will get them water skiing, golfing, riding horses, you want to do it? We will provide the opportunity to do that. So that's what our nonprofit does. And I speak all over the nation. And I would love the opportunity to speak in front of your organization. If you go to Matty Blanch 3 on Instagram, you can go to my link tree, and that will take you to all my socials and things like that. So nice. Yeah.
That is awesome. I can't wait till next time where we dive more into the sports side. I'd be remiss if I don't cover this topic, because there's a couple things that alluded to it. You spoke earlier about authenticity, and now you're speaking about community. Yeah. It is I'm heavy into technology. We sell SaaS. And we do some stuff with AI, but I feel like the more the technology rises, the more those two things are important, the authenticity and the community. Because now you can clone yourself as an AI, and how non-authentic is that, right? So
you bet. You hit it on the head. So in your, I have absolutely zero fear of AI or where it's going. I do use it as a tool and things. AI, like I said earlier, Doug, you can't be me. I can't be you. AI can't be me. And so I will be ahead of AI as far as a profession and a career always, because I'm perfect in AI.
Nice. I love it. So we always close. I feel like we're going to do this twice, but every episode I close with, because I feel like there's always something on someone's heart or something that they wanted to say that maybe I didn't ask you. So free form at the end. any parting words of wisdom or anything that you'd like to share with the audience?
What you're going through right now is temporary. You are in, believe it or not, your mind is more powerful than AI and any other supercomputer. Your thoughts generate feelings. Your feelings generate actions. Your actions generate who you become and who you are. So that's how powerful thoughts are. I would encourage anyone listening to start with some affirmations. And if you want my affirmations, please DM me, and I'll throw you my affirmations. You can start with those, and then you can kind of come into your own. The most powerful statement on the planet is "I am," and then what comes after. So I am a lot of things. I am a amazing father, and amazing. I could tell you all the amazing things I'm good at, but life is what we make it. So stop focusing on all of the drama. Get rid of the drama. Stop focusing on all the negative. Start focusing on the positive, the abundance. You're living somebody's dream life. Believe it or not, there is somebody out there saying, "I wish I had that car. I wish I had that house. I wish my kids talked to me like they." You know what I'm saying? So you're living somebody's dream life. Be thankful. Be appreciative. Be humble.
Yeah, gratitude.
You bet.
And I mean, we continue to go on there. A lot of verses about anxiety in the Bible come to me. God says, "Do not be anxious," because
Wow. Be present, man. Because
that's right.
why are you worrying about that? I mean, that's another thing, Doug, is your vibe attracts your tribe.
Oh,
So like right
so
now,
true.
but my positiveness, like negative people are truly, they think I'm obnoxious. I'm too much, too big. And I am for them. So, but I vibe with, and it's so true. The ether is true. We're using it right now. And if you don't understand the ether, my read, think, and grow rich. Pray, be humble, be thankful for your challenges. Be thankful. Thank God for your challenge. And ask for just the guidance, the wisdom, and the strength to get through it. Because you got to go through it. You got to go through it, not God. And just love. Love always wins, man.
Yeah. What I want to leave everybody with this because I'm just inspired by your story. Um, your breakthrough is often on the other end of a trial. Your success is on the other end of a trial. So if you're going through a trial right now, just have faith in that your breakthrough is on the other side. So,
I'm saying your future self's already taken care of it.
that's right.
All your worries today, Doug. Think about that for just a second. All the things you're worried about, and everything. I already know. I mean, you've taken care of everything up to this point. Are you really going to start letting yourself down now? No. So chill out, be present, and trust yourself that you've already taken care of it.
So, audience, get Matt. No matter what, refer him to an organization. If you don't have an organization, you have already heard part of his story. That's only part one. Imagine what he could share with your audience. So, go down, click the buttons, not the buttons, the links that we have below to get in touch with Matt. We'll have all his social links. We'll have his website. Every way that you can possibly get in touch with Matt, we'll have that below. And make sure that you do it because this story needs to expand beyond just my audience. It needs to expand to as many people as possible because it's going to change lives.
100%. It changes lives immediately. I'll share my probably most precious moment as a speaker. I was speaking to a high school crowd, and at the very end, I always get mobbed by the kids because physical touch is bro. And we got people high fiving, fist bump, and anyway, there's this young lady, and she's dressed in this gray outfit, and she's rocking back and forth, and I can tell she has special needs. And the principal's sitting there, and the teacher, and she waits for all the students to leave, and she comes up to me, and she tells me her name, and she says, "I'm autistic, and I don't like to be touched, but I want to give you a hug." And the principal's mouth is open, the teacher's mouth is open. And so I just kind of looking at them and I just open my arms up. And she came over. Her name's Jessica. And she came in to me. She's super rigid. And I didn't know what to do. And I just whispered in her ear. I was like, Jessica, you are beautiful. And she melted into me.
Oh.
And we embraced until she let go. And I look up, the teacher's bawling, and they walk off. And the principal comes up to me and says, I've known that young lady her entire life. She lives in my neighborhood. She goes to my faith, and I've never seen anyone touch her. And that's the power of my presentation.
Wow. Wow. Again, click the links, people. Thank you so much, Matt. And until next time, entrepreneurs, keep moving forward.
You bet. Hey, thanks, Doug. It's been amazing, and I can't wait for the next one.
That's right. So, Matt, this is a huge question, and I'm sure everybody would love to know this, but we ask a secret question on every one of these episodes, and this may be the only time I've asked this question. It's amazing, but I feel like you are the exact right person to answer it because no one has been through what you have been through. So your question, the secret question is, what is the secret to happiness?
The secret to happiness is loving yourself. How can you love your spouse fully, your kids fully, if you don't love yourself? And I love myself, and I put myself first. I do, and that was hard, especially as a father. That I realize if I don't show up for me and I show up for everybody else, then there is no me, and then my identity. Who am I? So I absolutely love being Matt Blanchard. And if God came down and gave me the opportunity to say, yo, you can be anybody on this planet, anyone, I'm choosing me. That's how much I love being me, love the impact I have on others, love that I'm in a wheelchair, and that because I'm in a wheelchair, all these other opportunities. Hate paralysis. Oh gosh, Doug, glad we've got, boy, I've got to do it, Doug.
Okay.
We've all got wheelchairs. Doug, you got there? I'm sitting in mine. The difference between my wheelchair and anybody that's listening, or Doug, yours, is that you can see mine. But Doug, you're going through things. You've got challenges, and no one can see what you're going through. And because they can't see what you're going through, they from a 30,000 foot view, Doug's life is all sunshine and rainbows. As soon as I get out of my car, as instantly, people are like, his life's hard. And it is. But it is no harder than yours, Doug. And I wouldn't trade my challenges for your challenges ever. But what I do recognize is that you're going through something. It's my job to love you and support you. And if you want my opinion or whatever, and an opinion is the least form of information, but I'm here to love you, period, the end. There's one race, the human race.
Mm-hmm.
My job is to love you. So if everyone listening would please see others' wheelchairs. As you're going through the store, as you're walking down the aisle, see others' wheelchairs, be kind. This is how we change the world, Doug. The entire world. Eye contact and a smile.
Mm-hmm.
Entire world changes. Because that person, you didn't even have to say anything, but that person, they saw me. They and they smiled at me. That will change the world. Eye contact and a smile. So see other people's wheelchairs, please. And smile. Life's good.
Man, that's so good. So we're so quick to judge sometimes. Like, that person's just miserable. I don't want to go near that. Maybe your smile and your kind words could change that person's whole day. Daily act of kindness. If we could just focus on one daily act of kindness, it doesn't need to have to be a huge, grandiose effort either. It can be just one small thing that you do for somebody. You give them a kind word. You're right. So right. So much would change.
When I teach anatomy over there at Utah Tech, last semester I had a lady, a young woman, that her mom had pancreatic cancer. So I guess it was 2 semesters ago, but she didn't make it to Thanksgiving or Christmas. And you would have never known that this young lady was having these struggles and was never going to see her mother ever again. And now we're in anatomy, and she can see the pancreas and what's going on. You'd have never known. and she lost her mom. Get the door for people. Just be obnoxious. Be obnoxious and get the door for people. And smiling and eye contact, that'll change the world.
Man, thank you. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out the Profitable Christian Business Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.